In today's video, I'm sharing a very simple and mechanical way to differentiate between internal and external lows when you are reading SMC market structure. So when you're trying to figure out break of structure, change of character, what's internal and external, by the time you finish watching this video, you're going to have two simple rules that will help keep you on the right side of the market. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Justin Bennett, Forex trader since 2007, full-time trader since 2011. And all of this is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. So let's get into the charts. Euro USD 1 hour time frame. So first of all, let's talk about internal and external highs with regard to SMC market structure, because one of the biggest struggles that traders have is they understand break of structure and change of character. Those two concepts are pretty easy to understand. What's not so easy though is what is internal and external, and that's really going to drive what you label as a break of structure or even change of character. So let's talk about two very simple rules. And by the way, this is actually the current live price action here for the Euro USD on the 1 hour time frame. So if you're looking at this structure here, let's go back to this period right down here. Okay, so I'm going to turn on replay mode here and go back to this over here. Okay, so when you have the market moving up like this very aggressively, what is internal and external within this structure? Okay, so the problem that traders make, or the issue that traders run into here, is things like this here. Is this internal or external? Okay, so by the time you finish watching this video, we're going to have two simple rules to identify this. So the very first rule for a low to be external in this case, because we have an uptrend, right? The very first rule is that we must have a break of structure. So looking at this price action here, you can see that this was the last confirmed break of structure up here. And if you missed my video on SMC market structure that defines how to label break of structure and change of character, I'll link to it at the top of this video. Be sure to go check that out once you finish watching this one. Looking at this here, break of structure, right? This is bullish, obviously, in an uptrend here for the euro. So this was our break of structure. Now, once we have this, we can confirm that this low right down here is our external low. And we know that now. This is confirmed because we have this break of structure up here. So that is the first rule, okay? And this is a non-negotiable, that an external high or low, okay? So rule number one is that it must trigger a BOS or change of character, okay? So that's rule number one, very simple. That is how we confirm an external high or low in a market, and it has to do this, okay? That's the only way we can actually confirm a high or low. However, there is a way to know when this is playing out if we have an internal or external low. For example, in the moment back here, okay, if you were just looking at this market in real time, how would you have known that this was internal or external? And spoiler alert, this is actually internal. Okay, so the trader's labeling this like this here. If you were labeling this like this with this high up here, calling this a break of structure, technically, yeah, you can get away with that sometimes, but technically speaking, in regards to smart money concepts, this is not technically a break of structure because this right here is not an external low. And I'll explain why in a moment here. Okay, so again, looking at this price action over here, is this internal or external? Well, this right here, this pullback is technically also internal. Now, the reason that we know that is because one thing, we have not taken internal liquidity, okay? So that is rule number two. Rule number two is that it must take internal liquidity, okay? Now, what do I mean by take? Okay, let's write this out here first. It must take internal liquidity. Now, when I say take, it's a little bit different than a sweep, okay? So in a sweep, what you're looking for is something like this here. You get the market making, like, let's say this low here, and you get the market just barely sweeping this low, right? This wick below here. That is technically a sweep. Now, I'm looking for the market to take liquidity, and that means moving into imbalances, okay? Rebalancing imbalances in the market, and also taking out lows. So to better explain this, let's move back here, okay? So again, our rules, rule number one, it must create a break of structure or change of character. Rule number two is that it must take internal liquidity. Now, technically, rule number two could happen and does happen before rule number one, okay? So that's something to be aware of as well. This up here, okay, rule number one is how we confirm an external high or low. Rule number two, this is how we can actually identify it early before we actually get that break of structure or change of character. So looking right back here, let's look at this trend because this is a perfect example. Now, if we look at this price action, okay, we clearly have two break of structures right here. So let's label this out first just to keep things nice and clean here, and then we'll work backwards from here. Okay, so break of structure right here. And we can also see that off of this high up here, we also have a very clear break of structure. Okay, so nice and clean. Now, looking at this period right back here, let's draw a rectangle from this high over here to the break of structure and then go down here to the low. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here. And I also encourage you, when you're trading live, do this on your charts, right? Why not? do this on your charts and map this stuff out as you go along. It's really going to help you solidify what is a breakup structure, a change of character, internal highs and lows, external highs and lows. So looking at this here, 2 clean breakup structures. Now this is rule number 1, right? Rule number 1 right here and rule number 1 right here. We have a confirmed breakup structure on both of these. So within this context, within this block here, what is the low? This right here is the low. So that's our external low. Same thing back here, external low. Now the question though is during this price action, okay, so if we were back here in this price action, right, with this playing out, let's say that this move right here, in fact, let's go ahead and move out of replay mode here and go back. And I'm actually going to replay this from here just to kind of prove a point. Okay, so looking at this here, if we go back to this pullback, let's take a look here at this and identify what would have confirmed early, okay, before we got the breakup structure, if this was an internal low. So if, let's just assume for a moment that we had the euro actually break above here, okay? Now, would this have been a true breakup structure, right? We're moving above this high. We had a pullback, so that satisfies that. However, there is one thing missing here, and that is that we have not taken internal liquidity. So internal liquidity is this low right here, right? Because we have external lows down here. This is our external high. This right here is internal. Okay, so when we see this right here, right, and we also know that clearly this is an imbalance back here on this candle. I mean, that's clear as day. But this right here, okay, with this low, this is technically internal. Now we can see that as the market unfolds here, right, we're going to see the market come down here and actually sweep this low. Now this right here, once we have this, and notice too where we came right here into this candle, right, this imbalance, we came back and rebalanced this area. But we also took internal liquidity. We took internal liquidity giving us that external low. However, this is not confirmed until we get the break of structure, okay? So that's also key there is that we have the first signs of this potentially being an external low with that sweep of the internal lows, or taking the internal lows, I should say. And then we have the confirmed break of structure here. This really confirms that this is our external low. Now, to put this into practice, okay, what does all of this mean for us? Well, when the market's playing out like this, once we have this here, we can say, okay, we have a new break of structure, right? We have internal low taken back here. This is quite clearly our external low. So what we can then do, if you saw my OTE video, what I can do is, in this case, I know we have buyers in control. We're in an uptrend. I can take my fibs here with my, my modified fibs with my discount premium zones and also optimal trade entry, and I can plot this out. Now, I don't know at the moment where we're going to top out here, okay, but I do know that we have a confirmed external low and a break of structure. Now, here we have a pullback, okay? So if right here, I can start drawing this out. And by the way, if you missed my video on OTE, I will link to it at the top. It is a must watch. It's really going to help you refine your entries. If we play this forward now, right? And again, we have a break of structure, confirmed external low here. I know I'm drawing from the correct spot. So moving this forward here, we can see that we consolidate a little bit, and then we pull back and tap the top of this OTE right here, okay? Right there at the 62% level, okay? So that right there, guys, is your entry. And once again, notice here, this is also now the first signs of an external low. And this is the first signs of an external low because, once again, we had internal liquidity building back here, okay? And then we swept it, right? We took internal liquidity and now we're moving higher. So this becomes a confirmed external low once we get the break of structure, okay? So again, moving forward, we obviously know that happens because we've already seen this. But the point here is that before these break of structures happened, we knew that there was a very good chance that these were going to become external lows if we got the break of structure. It's simply because we had taken the internal liquidity in both cases. Okay, now if I move this forward, this is very, very handy in cases like this over here, because what tends to happen is you get this right here. Okay, so you have the euro pulling back after this break of structure. Now what happens is that traders start to look at this over here and they get trigger happy, right? They want to see the next setup form. They don't want to wait. And they see this over here and they say, okay, this is my high now. If we break this, it's a new break of structure and I'm looking to buy against this area. Okay, so if we move this forward now, right, we can see we get the pullback. We have a retest here. Let's see if we close above, and we did right there on the hourly. So if you were watching this and you were labeling this as your high and this as your external low, right, you would have seen this close right here and said, that is a break of structure. I'm looking to buy against this area. Okay, so we have this imbalance right here. You can clearly see, and you'd be looking to buy here. But one thing that you'll notice is that we did not really take internal liquidity. Furthermore, we really never had internal liquidity develop. And that's a key too, is that this little tiny pullback right here, this is not enough to really build internal liquidity, right? Look back here at these lows, okay? So this internal liquidity that built, look how long this took. This is an hourly chart, right? This was basically an entire day of the market just going sideways, building that internal liquidity. Same thing over here, right? We came down here. This was over 1 day, right, of building this internal liquidity back here. So when you see a very tiny pullback like this over just a few hours, right, really a couple hours, this right here is not enough to build that internal liquidity, okay? So this was never your external low. This was simply just more internal liquidity. But again, the mistake that traders make is they're looking at to label everything as a breakup structure because they want those trade setups, right? And I don't blame them. And it is confusing. It can be confusing. But in this case, with these rules, this would have kept you out of trouble because you would have known that we really never built any internal liquidity here to take. And furthermore, we really never took it. If you notice back here, right, even if you had said this was your internal liquidity here building, we never really took this. Yes, we had a wick below it of maybe 1 or 2 pips, but we never really took it. So that's what's key. And obviously, if we play this forward, we can see that the euro just kind of grinds lower here for quite a while. And this is just a case of the market, again, just building that liquidity, taking the liquidity. And here's the key too, is again, this goes back to OTE, but you can see here that this is our external low. We know that because we have a breakup structure up here. We also took that internal liquidity, satisfies both rules. And once we get this pullback, okay, traders getting just chopped up here, you can see that this market moves right back here into our OTE, okay? So if you're looking at this here and you're saying, this is my external low, this is my new high, all you're doing is you're just waiting this entire time. All this price action back here, I can't buy this. I can't buy this because we're in premium. We're above the 50%. Now, as soon as we start to dip down here into this OTE, I'm hunting for an internal change of character, okay? So that is all I'm doing. Very, very simple stuff, right? Very mechanical stuff. It's not emotions. It's not trying to guess at what's going to happen, right? Once again, right there. Now, I explained in a video the other day how if you were looking for, even on the 15-minute time frame, you never actually got an internal change of character through here. However, you did over here, okay? And so this right here, you'd be buying against, right, those imbalances that built up because you have this OTE now, you have the uptrend, you have the internal change of character, the upside. So you'd be looking for buys in that region, and that would have played out, very nicely because we got an explosive move higher. Okay, so the key here, though, if we go back here and look at the current price action here for the euro, right? So to revisit our question at the beginning of this video, is this internal or external, this low? Well, you can see that we just have the market basically building internal liquidity with this low. Okay, same thing down here. So these were not external. And again, the issue that traders run into is that they start labeling everything as a breakup structure. Now, the issue with that is that if I did that over here, okay, what I would have is I would have this, right? I would have a breakup structure here, and then I would be looking at this low down here as a must-hold level. Okay, and what do we have here? We have a change of character. Now, here's the deal. This is, structurally speaking, okay, bearish in the short term. It is, right? No doubt about it. We came up here, we had a breakup structure above this high internally, okay, and we have kind of flipped to a more bearish stance in the short term. However, again, this up here, this low was internal. So the point here is that if we then were to go from here, from current levels, and break this high, then I would know that this down here is my new external low, okay? Because again, we took internal liquidity. Now, the reason I'm not leaning that way currently is because if I look back here, right, my last confirmed external low was this. This is my last confirmed external low, not this one up here. Again, we took internal liquidity, that's fine. But in order for this to be a confirmed external low, we'd have to confirm that with a close above this high, which we haven't done yet. So technically, I cannot use this low right here, right? All I'm concerned with right now is this low. And when we look at this low, okay, and I draw out my fibs once again to identify premium and discount and OTE, you can see that right now the market has basically just tapped the 50%. Okay, we've only tapped the 50%. We're still up here in premium. I cannot buy up here. Okay, so that is the point here. This, again, is my last confirmed external low, external high up here. This right here, this low is not confirmed yet. Yes, we have taken internal liquidity, but it is not confirmed yet. Okay, and we still have this area down here too, which, by the way, this is an imbalance in the market. So there still is that chance the euro comes back here to revisit this area and really rebalance that imbalance that we saw. Okay, yet to be seen here. But again, this right here, guys, I just want to point out that these lows like this are internal and not technically external because we never saw the market take out these lows. Now, if we had done something like this, okay, so let's once again go back here to our replay. Okay, so if we had done this on the way down, right, I'm going to get rid of this here, keep it nice and clean, and also this one. So if we had done something like this, where on the way down, right, we had built this liquidity, and then after we built this liquidity down here, this low, if we had done something like this, where we went sideways for a bit, and then we dropped below it, and then we came up here and took out this high, then I have a new external low, because we took internal liquidity and we broke this high. But instead, notice what we do. Okay, so again, this is our high up here. And if we play this forward, instead of taking this liquidity first, what we get is the euro going sideways. And then we have the market actually breaking above this first. Okay, it broke above this first before we had the market come down here and take this liquidity. Again, if we had done this, right, and then taken this and then broke above, now I have a new external low. Okay, because it satisfies both rules. But we didn't do that. Instead, we came up here first without taking internal liquidity, which again just means that all of this is still internal. So I hope this video has helped really clear up what is internal, what is external with these two simple rules. And again, if you get this right, everything becomes easy. If you get it wrong, though, it can be very frustrating. But these two rules will help keep you on the right side of the market. And if you missed my market structure video, be sure to check it out right here. Subscribe to the channel. And until next time, trade well out there.